Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is our first lecture of course Calculus 2. In today's lecture, we will study domain and range in two variables. First of all, it is clear that in Calculus 1, we have studied domain and range in one variable. Like we have to find the domain or range of one variable x or y. But in Calculus 2, we are having two variables. But the important thing is that the conditions will remain same. That as we studied in Calculus 1, that the domain for the under root x is that x can be greater than or equal to 0. And same for the denominator 1 by x cannot be equal to 0. Now for the two variables, the conditions will remain same. We will prove it by doing examples. That now we are taking the z, that is the function of two variables x and y, that is equal to 1 by under root x square minus y square. Now as for the denominator condition, we can see that x square minus y square cannot be equal to 0, which means x square cannot be equal to y square. It will be positive when it will go to the other side of the equal. So x square cannot be equal to y square. Now we will take the under root to remove the square. So x cannot be equal to plus minus y. So to write the domain, we will write it as that xy belongs to real number, but the condition is that x cannot be equal to plus minus y. Now the question is, what is range? Range is basically the output we will get by giving our domain as input. So when we will put x not equal to plus minus y, which means that if our x is 1, our y cannot be plus 1 or minus 1. If our x is 55, our y cannot be plus 55 or minus 55. If we will put such condition in this expression, so our range will be all real numbers. We will get all the values from negative infinity to the positive infinity, including 0. So this is our range. We can write it as all real numbers. Now we will take another example to understand. We are taking a bit different example. As we did for the denominator, now we are taking for the under root. So the condition of under root will be clear to us. F of xy, the function of xy, is 1 minus x square minus y square. So for the condition of under root, we are saying x is greater than or equal to 0. Which means in this condition, 1 minus x square minus y square must be greater than or equal to 0. Here we have 1. So minus x square minus y square greater than or equal to minus 1. Here we have plus, on the other side it will be minus. X square plus y square must be less than or equal to the 1. So our domain is that xy belongs to the real number, but with the condition that x square plus y square should be less than or equal to 1. And for the range, when we will put our condition in the expression given, we can see that when we will put, you can see it more easily from here, that minus x square minus y square should be greater than or equal to minus 1. So when you will put this condition at this value, you can see that our range will be all real numbers. We will get all real numbers as output by putting this condition in our expression. Now we will take one more example. Now if we take for the log, this is the new one example and different from the other. if we take the log of x plus y minus 1, so for this, what will be our domain? This is also the function of x and y. So for this, we have the condition that whatever we have inside the log, it should be greater than 0. Like, I will write it here as if we have log of x, our x should be greater than 0. This is our condition. So for this now here, our x plus y minus 1 should be greater than 0. X plus y should be greater than 1. So our domain will be, that is x plus y belongs to real number, but with the condition that x plus y should be greater than 1. So for the range when we will put this condition in our expression that x plus y, the value of x plus y should be greater than 1, we will get the output all real numbers, that the values from negative infinity to positive infinity. Now we will take one more example of exponential. The another example we are taking is exponential minus x square plus y square. For this, our values of the values inside exponential should be, that our domain should be that xy belongs to real number. It can be any real number. We can put the negative values, we can put the 0, we can put the positive. This is how our exponential works. So for the range we will get, if you will put all the real numbers from 0 to negative infinity or positive infinity, you can see that in range we will never get the negative values. We will always have values from 0 to positive infinity. This is how exponential works. We are taking one more example of exponentials, so exponentials will be more clear. Exponential raised to power x plus 1 divided by, so for this, x plus 1 by y minus 2. For this, what is our condition? That domain is x or y belongs to real number, but the condition is that denominator, y minus 2 should not be equal to 0, which means y should not be equal to 2. So like this, when you have any other conditions with the exponential, you should consider these. So now for the range, when you will put the values from 0 to negative values or the positive values, but not the 2, you will see that in range you will get all the real numbers. We are taking one more example, and the last example, which is very important, 9 minus x square minus y square. In this, our condition of the under root, that is 9 minus x square minus y square, should be greater than or equal to 0. Which means that minus x square minus y square should be greater than or equal to minus 9. By changing the symbol, x square plus y square should be less than or equal to 9. So this is our domain, that x and y belongs to all real numbers except that x square plus y square should be less than or equal to 9. And for this, the range is, now you can see that x square plus y square should be less than or equal to 9. So you can see that we can put the greatest or the largest output we will get from it is, by putting the under root 9 is 3. So for this, the range will be 0 to 3. 3 is included, 0 to 3. But you will not get the negative values and not the values greater than 3. So its range is 0 to 3. So this was our first lecture.